had some people ask me since I started diving here in Mossel Bay, how on earth can you dive in Mossel Bay? Because it is known for having a whole bunch of white sharks as well. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of Cape fur seals here, especially around Seal Island. Anyways, so I spoke to my diving instructor Elton and I asked him who can tell me a little bit more about sharks and the real danger of sharks, because when you talk about sharks in the ocean, I think about Jaws, and I think most people do, and then you kind of get totally freaked out as soon as you get in the water and there's a sharky. So let me introduce you to Elton, and he's going to take us out. He proposed, let's go out with White Shark Africa on one of their trips for the shark cage diving. And you'll remember, we've done one of these before. And then he'll talk a little bit more to me about the whole thing of sharks in the ocean. Good morning.
Morning, Josh.
Permission to come aboard.
You're more than welcome, sir.
Thank you. This is Elton, my diving instructor from Go Dive. Elton, good morning.
Morning. Pleasure to have you aboard the vessel.
Yes, what an absolutely thrilling morning.
Yeah.
Because an hour ago I was still in bed and then you called and said, are you coming? And here we are.
A really short notice one this morning, but it's going to be worth it. The sharks have been really active. So I think, this is exactly what you were asking about.
Yeah. So the purpose of this whole trip that we're going to be doing now is to find out more about sharks, and are they as dangerous as they are in the movies? So let's take that opening statement. What do you think?
I really love answering this question, to tell you the truth, because we get a lot of clients on our boat who feel the same way that you are, that you do. A little bit scared, apprehensive at first, not sure what to expect. But it's our job to bring you out here, show you what the sharks are really like, and help to change your perception just like that. Actually, we don't even do much. The sharks do it all by themselves.
We're also going to be talking a little bit about a program that you guys offer, where interns can come from all over the world to come and not only learn how to dive in all the different aspects, but also to play around with the sharks and get a really awesome experience here in Mossel Bay.
Yeah, so basically the program runs monthly. You can pick any month you want. Come out here to South Africa. We pick you up at George Airport, and the rest of it we do for you. You've got nothing else to worry about. We sort everything out for you.
Time period,
you stay for anything between 1 to 3 months. So and at the same time as working with sharks and African penguins and a whole range of other things, you also have the opportunity to build up your scuba career all the way from nothing. You can have no qualifications all the way up to dive master, which makes it special, and working with white sharks at the same time. So we're very proud of this, and it's really it's a busy program, and it's very rewarding.
Awesome. All right, so let's go out onto the ocean and look for those sharkies. And this is our destination, Seal Island, home to a whole bunch of Cape fur seals, and the perfect spot to find those great white sharks. Elton, tell me, how do you identify the different sharks? Because I mean, there's a whole bunch of different sharks, not only across the world, but also here in Mossel Bay, you've got a whole range of different sharks.
Out here on the shark boat, on the White Shark Africa boat, we generally only encounter white sharks. Very, very seldomly we'll get some hammerheads coming around, but mostly it's white sharks. But what's interesting is that we actually have come to learn to recognize the sharks by either by the shape of their dorsal fin, by different markings on the sharks, even by their behavior. Sometimes we'll see the same shark like 4 or 5 days in a row, and then we won't see them again for maybe, let's say, 4 or 5 days. And then kind of month on, month off, they'll leave and they'll come back, and it's quite awesome. We've actually got a shark around that I'm hoping you're going to see today. She's about a 3.5 meter female. Her name is Shredder, and we've seen her last 2 years ago, and then she was gone for about 2 years, and now she's back. So it's really, really awesome. How we know her, she's got a very, very jagged trailing edge of her dorsal fin, and she just comes straight up to the cage. She's not interested in the bait too much, but she comes and just looks like at the divers in the cage and just slowly cruises past. You can tell them apart by the size, by the colorations, by any markings or amputations. There's a lot of identifying characteristics. So hopefully today, as we go on and we get our first shark, I can start to point those kind of things out to you.
The big question is, how scared do I need to be of sharks in the water?
We don't really form a natural part of the shark's diet. Sharks eat smaller marine mammals, obviously. We look nothing like those. Seals are very graceful and very comfortable in the water. When we're in the water with our scuba gear on, we look nothing like seals. We're very uncomfortable, we're very ungraceful. So it's very hard for a shark to confuse us with its natural food source. In most cases, if we ever do see a white shark on a scuba dive, we count ourselves very lucky, and within seconds that shark just disappears, it leaves us alone. So my honest opinion, I think you're really, really safe on scuba at the bottom. In the shark's natural environment, you definitely don't fit in as his natural food group. So yeah, I think you're really safe. This is Seal Island, home to about 2,000 to 4,000 Cape fur seals. Okay, this is the reason that the sharks are in the area. Okay, so every morning these guys that live on the island, they've got to venture off into the deep water and they've got to go and catch themselves some food. As they're leaving and as they're coming back, that's an awesome opportunity for the white sharks who live in the area to also catch themselves some food. What we're doing over there, Tony's preparing some chum for us, Tony and Conray. It's basically some sardines that they put in a bucket, they mash it all up and they put some salt water with it, and then they throw that same salt water with its oils back into the water. The idea is to create a nice big chum slick, okay, some oil and blood and stuff that floats on top of the water. As the shark crosses over that chum stick, it smells the fish and it becomes curious. So then it follows the fish in a zigzag pattern until it arrives at our boat. If we just left it like that, the shark would circle once or twice and then it would just leave. We have to keep it around our boat. We have to keep it amused and entertained. We've got two tuna heads, and we tie it onto a rope and we throw that out, and that's what actually keeps the shark around our boat. Okay, so by pulling the bait out of the way, the shark tries to grab it and we can keep the shark entertained around the boat.
So the sharks have, along the length of the body, they've got what's called the lateral line, which is very sensitive to splashing, vibrations, temperature, even weather patterns. Actually, they can feel the difference in the water through the air pressure. So the splashes that the head's creating, the shark's out there and it doesn't smell the chum, it might hear those splashes and feel it, get a bit intrigued because it might be an injured animal. Shark comes around, smells it out, and the splashes is what keeps the sharks around.
So do you think that might be a reason why, if you do fall into shark-infested water, that you should not splash around?
That's definitely a pointer I would give. Definitely. If you're splashing around, you're mimicking an injured or scared animal, and that's exactly what a shark thrives on.
Yeah. The crew is skilled in attracting sharks closer to the boat. And with the stage set, it becomes a waiting game for the stars of the show to make their appearance. The catfish did not think twice about joining the festivities and used the opportunity to get a bite or two. then, out of the blue, our first great white. So as you can see, we've got a sharky here in the water. It's going around the cage. It is humongous big and quite scary. I don't want to be in the water.
What you get from the right?
After an amazing experience, it is time to go home. So Elton, those are the big ones.
Yeah, what did you think of them?
A little bit frightening, and if you want us to go swim with the big ones on one of our trips, it might be a dash scary, but they don't seem as aggressive as I thought they would be.
I knew you would say that, and actually I've got a little bit of a thought now. How about we go back up to the shop, we kit up, and I take you to see some of the smaller species in Mossel Bay, this time without the cage.
Ooh, without the cage. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
So why the sudden interest in big sharks? There is a rumor that I will be forcefully inspired to go diving in the near future with ragged tooth and tiger sharks, and getting comfortable with these creatures is me trying to manage my fear. We're in the water and we're going for a baited dive here at the Dulose in Mossel Bay, and except for the fact that the water is like really cold, there is apparently some dolphins here. We will be diving at a depth of between 3 to 4 meters deep, and unfortunately the visibility is not the best because of the surge, but is good enough for the purpose of our dive. We were suddenly surrounded by sargo, or white sea bream fishes, also known in Afrikaans as koolsterte because of the black spot on their tails. It is a commercially fished species, and although it's got a very tasty meat, it must be consumed fresh. And really an amazing experience having so many of them around us. And then the reason for our dive, the shy sharks, also known as cat sharks. We encountered two species, the pajama sharks with their striped skin and the lesser known puff adder shark. A puff adder is the Afrikaans name for a very dangerous snake species in South Africa, and the patterns on this little shark is very much the same. It seems like they are really curious and very comfortable around the divers, maybe because of the food. These little cat sharks are not even a match to the great whites and not scary at all. There is just something so special about being able to interact with these living creatures in the ocean. And then also their mouths and teeth was clearly not visible like the great whites and the raggies. And unfortunately, I had gloves on because I would have loved to have felt what their skin feels like. If you want to experience feeding the cat sharks and other fish, contact Go Dive in Mossel Bay for more information. And if you can dive, let them teach you. Hope you enjoyed these shark encounters. Remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and share. And I'll see you in the next adventure.